Hi, I'm just going to spend a few minutes and go over formatting for your assignments. Over the years, I've come to be aware that many people still treat their word processor as if it were a typewriter, and that often the basic tools they use for formatting are the space bar and the return keystrokes. So I want to go over how to more skillfully format your documents. And then I want to spend just a few minutes looking at the template that I've created for this course. So I'm going to share the screen here and there and share screen, share. Okay, hopefully you can see this. Now, this could be an assignment that I received and I look at it and I go, well, that doesn't look too bad. The formatting looks pretty decent on that. That's the title page. The name of the author isn't quite centered, so I can clean that up. And I go, okay, that's pretty good. But look what happens when I show, you watch my cursor up here, that paragraph mark, show, hide, paragraph marks, and other hidden formatting symbols. All of these formatting marks are embedded in your document. And so to work with this without this turned on is like if you've got company coming over and you want your apartment to look or house to look nice, and you sweep all of the dirt up, but you put it under the carpet instead of cleaning it out. So this is what the document actually looks like. Okay, this is what I see. So this person has got these lines of text left aligned right here. You can see it up here, and then has centered them more or less by hitting the space bar. Okay, so it's just really an unskillful way to format your work. Let me see if I can put another. I hope you can see this. This one's better. This is what it looks like when I get it. If I don't have the symbols turned on, this is what it looks like if I'm really looking at it. If I am an employer and I'm looking for somebody that really knows how to use a word processor and they send me an application formatted this way, I might have second thoughts about hiring them because I think, well, they don't really know how to use Word very well. So I want my text, my title to be where it is, but I don't want the clutter. How can I do that? First, I get rid of all these paragraphs. That moves the title up the page. I get rid of that one. That moves the anonymous up, the author up the page. And I get rid of these, which now moves the text of the essay onto the title page, which I definitely don't want. So now I come up here to what I want to move down the page. And instead of moving it down by hitting the return key, I go to paragraphs and open this window over here, and where it says spacing before here, I increase the amount of space. I can increase it however much I want to move the text down the page. Okay. I do the same thing with that line of text. I just say, oh, I want to add a little bit more so that there's some space between the author and the title. Okay, so now it looks clean. I can do the same thing here, but it's somewhat different. Instead of hitting the return key to complete the page and move the text down, I insert up here on the menu line, I click on insert, and I insert a page break. And that cleans up that first page, the title page. It looks good. Remember that paragraph symbol is on the home menu. So this page looks clean no matter if I've got this turned on or turned off. And then I can do the same thing all the way through my document. So I want to just go over really quickly the template that I created for this course. I can format my work doing what I've just been doing, manually placing the text on the page by using the paragraph formatting tool. That's a perfectly valid thing to do if that's how you want to do it. But there's a much more elegant and efficient way to do it by using styles. So styles, I'm on the home menu. Styles is right here. And there's this little arrow over here that you can click and it opens the style box. The same styles and some more are across here that you can look at them up here. I often tend to like to see them over here because I find it a little cleaner. What you do, so there are two really good reasons to use styles. I didn't know about it till I was halfway through my dissertation, writing my dissertation, and somebody mentioned it by chance, and I'd never heard of it. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I checked it out and I learned it. It took me a while to learn because I was using it for some pretty complicated stuff. I absolutely couldn't believe that no one had told me about it before then. I was halfway through my PhD before I even heard about it. So maybe many of you haven't heard of styles, and it's an outrage because it's an incredibly powerful tool. So for instance, my dissertation was 600 pages long. And part of it was my journal, my wilderness journal. And it was written in Comic Sans. I used a font that made it look kind of like if I were writing it by hand. And I had this whole thing done. And I decided that the Comic Sans font was a little too large. I had set it at 11 point. And it would compare to the normal 12 point Times New Roman for the rest of the dissertation, it just looked a little heavy. And I decided I wanted to make it at 10.5 point. I wanted to decrease the size a little bit. If I had had to do the whole thing by hand, it would have taken a long time to do multiple paragraphs all the way through and reduce the size. But because I had used styles, I had created what I called a journal style. And the journal style had this Comic Sans font, 11 point. All I had to do is redefine that style to 10.5 font. And when I hit the click button, it propagated through all 600 pages of the dissertation. It took seconds. It was absolutely amazing. So that's one incredible thing. It's a control. The other thing that when you format your work manually, each heading, each thing you do, you have it's hard to make it really consistent. What did I do here? What did I do there? I have to repeat the same thing. What are the rules for level 1 heading, level 2 heading? It just goes on and on. When I define these things with a style, I don't have to do any of that, right? I just click on the style I want. So let me make, for example, let me disappear this. I'm going to report writing template. I'm going to disappear that. And I'm going to say, okay, I want to put my the title of the paper in here. So what I can do is I go over here to the title of the essay and I click on that. See how that moved it down the page? So it puts it where I want it vertically, still centered. Report, what did I name it? Report or template. This isn't what it was. See, I've already forgotten what it was. Template for assignment writing. So, and I can do the same thing here. Let's say all of this, I think I'll copy this. I know what I'll do. I'm going to turn this into body text, which makes it left aligned. And then I can copy it. I hope this works. Okay. And I can cut it and get rid of it. So now I want to write all my information. So I put the cursor there, and now I go over here and I put title page style, centers it automatically. And now I can paste and merge formatting, and it puts it right where I want it because I've used the title page style for it. So embedded in this template for your use are basically all the APA 7 styles you'll need for the course, and maybe all you'll need for your master's thesis or MRP as well. So here are the different headings, levels of headings, and I've written them in the formatting they require. So let's say I want to just turn that into body text. And now I come and say, okay, I want to write a level 1 heading. I can just type it however I want. And then I come over here and I go heading 1, and it creates the formatting embedded in it. And so all of these different levels of headings have the formatting embedded in them. Sometimes you might want to have some points. You want to make a list of points. And so I just got rid of that formatting. And so you can just come over here and you can look for points, click on points, and that will format your points just the way you want them to be. I know that Microsoft has points you can do, but often I don't like what they do. And so I like to have control over it. Anytime you quote an author in your writing that's 40 words or more, you don't quote it in the line of text, in the body of the text. You set it apart as a block quote. And the short essays you'll be doing for this class, you shouldn't have many or any of these maybe, but when you need to use a block quote, I've got a block quote style in here. And so it's indented, it's double spaced, and you see over here that that is set up as a block quote. After you do a block quote, you need to cite the author. So there's a quote author here. And what that does is it's right-hand justified. And so you start typing over here and it creates the author's information over here on the right-hand side. Okay. I think the last thing I want to talk about are reference styles. You probably know that references need to be hanging indent. And so to do them manually is just a royal pain. You have to go down and do each one individually. So let me turn this into, I just changed it over here to body text as though it were just regular writing. And now let's say I've got a reference and I want to create it as a reference. I click on references and it automatically gives me that hanging indent. Okay. There's one last thing. If I'm writing somebody's name, that's not enough. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna write somebody's name as part of my reference. Okay, so let's say for a reference, I want my name in there as an editor or something like that. And I've created it, but it doesn't look right because my first name is on one line and my second name, my surname is on the other line. So I can force my first name to the next line by hitting the return key or the space bar, right? Just force it like that, which is inelegant. Or I can create a new paragraph, but then I've lost my hanging indent. So what I can do is I can use what's called a soft return. That forces this text, it forces a line break without creating a new paragraph. So how you do that is you hold down the shift key and you hit the enter key. And what that does is it forces the text down to the next line and you're still in the same paragraph. This is the symbol over here for a soft return. Okay, so how do you use this template? Well, the way I suggest is once you've read it and you're clear about everything in it, you just delete it all. You get rid of it all. So you have a blank document. All you've got is page numbers in there. And then all these styles that you need are still embedded in this document for your use. So you save this as a generic name, whatever you want to call it. And then every time you want to write a report for this class or for any other class, you can use this template. You open the template and you just start typing. Okay, so I just type this. I want the title. I go over here and I go title of essay and it sets it up. And then I go down here. I don't want the next one to be title. I want the next one to be body text. And it's set that up. And it's, as you can see, it's going to have the indentation embedded in it. If I want to do a quote, a block quote, I go up to block quote and it sets here. If I want to do a block quote, it's going to, oh, I don't know why it didn't do that. I think because this is all indented. Body text. Hang on for a second. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong key here. Body text. Okay. Now I want to put in a block quote. it's gonna, the whole line of text will be the same. So when I put something in here, the whole thing will be indented now. Okay, so the whole block will be indented instead of just the first line. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to show you. This has gone on long enough, and I'm going to stop the screen share. And if you have questions about this, we can certainly talk about it. There's a ton of tutorials on this stuff on YouTube, lynda.com, and I've got this written in the stuff on the website, is available to you now through LinkedIn Learning, through your public library. Roll Roads doesn't have it yet for students, but this should be enough to get you going. So I'm going to embed this tutorial on the website as well for your use. Okay, thanks. I hope this is useful to you. See you in class.